The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
I want to remind you one more time, tomorrow morning at 8, we'll have tickets for Weezer, Dinosaur Jr. and the Flaming Lips. I love that lineup coming up at the Allstate Arena where they will play the Blue Album in its entirety. And I can't wait for that show at the Allstate Arena. So we'll have that 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
The Q101 Morning Crew. Sports.
Well, as we talked about all week, we've been talking about the stadium stuff for the Bears for 2 years. And I know that it gets droning and you think it's the same information again, but you do know that they've now shifted from Arlington Heights down to a dome stadium on the lakefront, allegedly. That's what
right.
I mean. The president of the Bears said this, but how can you believe him when you say they want to do a stadium remodel and then they buy for $200 million Arlington Park, tear it down, and say we're going to do it out there? Well, now we're going to go over here again. I mean, it's really like that psycho person in your life that just keeps giving you a different answer every time you ask a question and you don't know what's real anymore.
It doesn't make any sense. If you think about it, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Where's the stadium going to go?
Yeah. The Friends of the Park.
Friends of the Park. That's why we don't have a Star Wars museum. It's true.
Star Wars nerds like me can appreciate that. The Roker brought that up at the 7 o'clock sports. I forgot about the Lucas Museum because I remember I just so looking forward to that. The renderings of what it was going to look like. George Lucas's wife is from Chicago. And then the Friends of the Park just, eventually if you get people where their job is to kind of nitpick and say no to it, then eventually it's going to be a no.
Right, right.
Well, what happens to the lakefront over there or the boating docks or we have to get rid of this? Okay, it's a no then. It sounds like too much work because most people don't like a lot of work.
I get the Friends of the Park, though. I understand where they're coming from because if you don't protect the lakefront like it's intended, then it ends up looking like Gary, Indiana.
Whoa.
And I'm not slighting Gary, but there's nothing but... there's nothing but refineries and stuff over on the lakefront over there, right?
You're exactly right on this because my in-laws are in town, Megan's parents, and I took them to Montrose Beach, and I've taken them to other parts of the beaches, and all of a sudden her dad went, wait, what's this? Wait, I can see the skyline? and there's a park, there's guys fishing over here? He loves fishing. And all of a sudden he saw this just new little corner of the city, and I don't know if people realize how lucky we are to have the waterfront that we have, because he's from Philadelphia. And what they did there was they built stuff across the river in Camden, New Jersey. And so the Philadelphia side doesn't have this great waterfront. You think it's a great city that has, a chance to do things like that. They could have built it there. So people that come here are floored by our lakefront. So I do get the Friends of the Park, but I also think that it could be tough to work with them. So the stadium could end up back in Arlington Heights where they say, you own the stadium. You can do whatever you want with this land. You bought Arlington Park. It's your land.
Right. And
you got all this stuff, and you even got a train stop there.
I know. It's a perfect location for the Bears. I think they're going to still end up in Arlington Heights.
So put it in your pipe and smoke it. Roker says the stadium will still happen in Arlington Heights. And Case always thought it was going to come back to Soldier Field. I did at first because it's kind of like when the Cubs and the Ricketts family threatened to go to Rosemont, if you remember that.
Yeah, that was...
And Jerry Reinsdorf more recently threatening to go to Nashville. It's amazing. It'd be so cool to be rich.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine? Just not caring about anybody. It would be awesome.
It would be so good just to be able to just play that card. That I can pick up and leave.
And they play it every time.
Yeah.
And we never learn. We never learn from it. It's just, oh, my God, they got us again. It's like Scooby-Doo every week.
You take the mask off and it's Jerry Reinsdorf?
In my dreams, every night, the bad guy's Jerry Reinsdorf.
Old Man Withers or whatever his name was on Scooby-Doo. So anyway, we'll follow this as we do, but it's going to be who knows how many years. Like Kenzie, I loved Kenzie, bless her heart, thought a stadium could be built in a year. And when she was stunned, honestly stunned that it couldn't happen that fast. Now, it's a valid point that you think you could build these skyscrapers go up in 6 months and down in Chicago, so why can't you build a stadium? But the amount of concrete just to pour is a lot.
Well, first of all, they're obligated to be in Soldier Field until 2033.
Yeah. But see,
so it's not happening. You're not going to get a new stadium for another 9 years.
Yeah, but again, they're related to us, Roker, like us people, that you like leave your apartment, you got to sublet it to get the money back so you can. So the Bears could pay that.
That's true.
The lease is what, another $500 million probably for 10 more years?
Right.
Oh, we got that in the ATM.
They're like, the Chicago Fire are right here. Soldier Field's not going to be empty. Knock yourself out, boys. Oh, my God.
Also, so good Bears move. I talk about they shouldn't be able to build a stadium until they win. I got in a rant yesterday on that, Roker, that unless you win next year, nobody can build a new stadium. So the White Sox have to win. The Bears have to win. The Bulls have to. The Bulls don't want to go anywhere. United Center's great.
Right.
I mean, anybody's got to do
But
that.
that's the next domino. That's why I hate this. Just real quick, is that the Bears are going to want something new. Reinsdorf is bored, so he wants to move the White Sox. And then it's going to be, well, wait a minute, the United Center. Well, that was built in the 90s. We need new there as well. It's all going to be bad.
Yeah, the United Center better be fine for a while because it's great.
It's awesome. I love every stadium we have. Even Soldier Field is fine.
No, it's not.
Here's the thing. I had a great time when I saw the Chili Peppers there, so I have good memories associated with Soldier
You have
Field.
one memory.
I've seen the Chicago Fire play there. I've enjoyed that too.
Okay, you have two. The night that Messi didn't show up.
He was on the field probably that day.
All right, a couple other quick things we didn't get to is Jalen Johnson, who signed the 4-year, $76 million extension with the Bears. A great signing. You get the highest guaranteed money in Bears history, by the way, at $54 million. Said he had a sex addiction. Did you hear this come out in the press conference? Where he kind of went a real big right turn in the press conference celebrating his money. And he talked about that, and he said, I think for me, though, it's a bigger thing when he revealed his therapy for sex addiction. And I'm not trying to be necessarily too funny here, but aren't we all addicted to sex?
I think so. And he got the contract. He really didn't need to blurt that out. Right?
Oh, God. Not to mention that money will get him a lot more sex.
That's true.
I mean,
I think he's trying to cut back on the sex, though. I think it was a warning shot. He's like, even though I'm rich, do not sleep with me.
yeah, but I mean, that's got to be a
Here's the
secret
thing.
signal in there.
If he's mentioning a sex addiction in a press conference, that means he's probably almost missed a game because he was too busy having sex at 11 a.m. and he was like, oh my God, I have to get to Soldier Field. I think that's the level of crippling that it is.
Here's what I think. I think he made it up on the spot because he now has $76 million and wants to have more sex.
There you go.
That's it, yeah.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
So about an hour ago, let you know that Piece of Garbage Madness is returning after 5 years with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Now, I started this back in 2006. It's a it's a bracket of garbage. Things in the last year that have been garbage. For example, to get things out there, is a number one seed that would maybe want to bring it back for the first time in a long time is Tiffany Henyard, the Dalton mayor. We can only talk about her so many different times and what she's done in the FBI scandal. So putting her as a number one seed in Piece of Garbage Madness to see who could take her down, what's been more garbage in the past year, seems like a real logical leap. So we're going to do it.
Right. But bracket style.
Bracket style, just because next week the college basketball bracket starts. And by the way, Q101.com, you can find different brackets there to fill out. There'll be Selection Sunday is this Sunday. And then the playing games, I guess, are still Tuesday, right? And then Thursday, round one and all that. It's so fun. It's amazing. It's the best thing ever. I don't even care. You don't even know these teams. It's just so fun.
I agree. So, we started coming up with some ideas an hour ago. Brian, do you want to hit off some more other than Tiffany Henyard? Do you have those locked away in your memory there?
We have some like the Boeing airplanes.
Yep.
We have the Kennedy construction, of course.
Absolutely.
Local is good. When there's stuff that's local, and for example, the Bears assistant coaches. Mm-hmm. We do have, from the first year ever of doing it, a nomination for Men in Affliction shirts, but I just don't know if that could be. I haven't seen one.
In the past year. I don't think I've seen one either.
So don't go back to 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Try to do it in the past year. And we also try not to get, too deep. Don't put murderers on here. And we try to stay, except for Tiffany Henyard, less political. But then again, nominate what you want. We'll weed it out with the seedings. We'll have the committee go through it, which is just me, pretty much.
Can I throw a few at you? You tell me if they should be on the list or not.
Go for it.
Alyssa Milano.
Alyssa Milano, do you know why we'd have her on the list, Roker?
No.
Because she put up a GoFundMe for her kids' Little League baseball team to travel to Cooperstown, trying to get $10,000. Now, she's worth, I think, somewhere over $10 million.
Yeah.
And then there was a picture of her and her son at the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
Wow. She could be she's on the list. We'll see if she makes the cut.
What about the Highland Park Poverty Simulator that they did last summer.
These are great things that are coming back that we've talked about on the show. Yes, just leave it on the list. I don't need to explain that one right now.
No. The lack of a McDonald's in Wilmette, I think that should certainly be on the list. The city of Wilmette said, no, they don't want a McDonald's.
I like it.
What about pickleball?
I don't like the conversation of pickleball, even though I know a lot of our listeners enjoy it, and it's a great thing. Have you ever played pickleball, Roker?
I have not played pickleball. I'm not quite sure what it is.
To be honest.
So do you hit the ball hard? Or do you just, lob it? What do you do?
Well, I honestly don't exactly know how it's played either, because it's like tennis, but it's not, right? It's like a smaller court. And listen, I know people are addicted to it. There's 100,000 people
addicted to it.
Like Naperville, and they built a new
pickle house.
Pickle house.
Yeah.
Is it in Lincoln Park?
No, it's in Lake County.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm not dissing it necessarily. I just, the conversation about pickleball all the time just starts to make me just go nuts a little bit.
All right, well, then I think that's probably worth a nomination. I have one more for you.
Okay.
This is a personal vendetta.
Well, this is a case thing then.
I'm curious to see if you would put it on the list as well. The Tesla Cybertruck. Because I just can't believe you're a good person if you drive that.
If I could afford one, I'd buy one.
I know you would. That's the problem.
Because I want to be the first to have one. I mean, I always wanted a Hummer.
Yeah.
And then I never got one of those.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being the person driving the H2 right now downtown?
I know, right? Yeah.
I mean, the H3s were just kind of like a tiny SUV.
They were like big Jeeps.
Yeah. They were garbage. But H2, to pull up one of those right now, does anybody listening have an H2
Hummer? You don't see
Hummer?
those even on a used car lot.
No.
Even.
I would love to talk to a person. This is before we get to our takeaways. If you have an H2 Hummer, I got to know why. At 312-591-8300. So, but we put a post up on Facebook. Please nominate stuff that's been pieces of garbage in the past year, and let's make it fun. Let's get it going. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
All right, Lauren's coming in next. A reminder for tomorrow, 8 a.m., we have Weezer tickets, 710 Alkaline Trio, and Friday is the St. Patty's Day broadcast at Lizzie McNeil's. It's going to be a rager with so much free stuff for you. A-level concert tickets, free breakfast, and the vaccines performing live. And Roker Jr. will be there.
Yay. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so Al will be back on Thursday. Kara was in tomorrow for Kenzie, who's on maternity leave. But we keep the party going. So be focused on getting off for Lizzie McNeil's Friday for the party.
Focus up.
Focus up. Fake whatever you have to get out of work. Or you know what? Just work from home from Lizzie McNeil's.
It's a Friday. Everybody works from home then.
Come on. Plus, it's over by 10, so you can still work that day. Just get your drink on a little bit. Okay, takeaways from you guys here. 312-591-8300. Case, what do you got?
Ben in Indiana checked in. He said COVID's greatest victim was the gum industry.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah.
Listen, we talked about that early in the show. Case to tell us what's on the podcast later. Roker, takeaway.
Kelly from 219 says, Al thinks pickleball is something hard with lob. I do.
Yeah, he doesn't know
what
what
is
it is.
it.
If someone wants to take Al Roker Jr. to play pickleball, would you want to play it or no? Doesn't sound like it.
I'd play it.
Or at least go watch someone else play. Yeah, I would do that too. I've never seen one in person, and I know a lot of people love it. I don't know what it is really either exactly. I don't know why it's called pickleball either.
I don't know either.
Another thing for the internet.
No one asked me. I don't know.
Finally, the king of takeaways, double features Mike. Takeaway, don't skip the rehearsal dinner or else you'll be playing volleyball with turkeys and it's going to confuse the hell out of you. So facts.
That's right.
Again, you have to listen to the podcast to figure out the context of these in case what's on the podcast.
Well, Al Roker Jr. returned this morning. We had missed him. It was very nice to have him back, and we talked about, again, the decline of the gum industry at the start of the show. Also, Brian recalled a time that an old lady paid him to not go on a date with her.
Yes.
Very humiliating moment in your life. And then we announced just an hour ago, just talked about it again a second ago, Piece of Garbage Madness is back 2024. We kicked it off in a big way today.
Yes, great. You miss a moment, miss a lot. The new Brian and Kenzie podcast, Q101.com, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.